Sydney has a new stadium, the Allianz Stadium. Let's have a look at what it has to offer.
It cost taxpayers more than $800 million, but this weekend, Sydney's newest stadium will finally throw open its gates. Tonight, we go behind the scenes at Allianz Stadium to see just how much has changed and why developers say it's worth every cent.
Do you know what disappoints me with stadiums that have a sponsor name as their stadium? You know, this could be, I don't know, the Sydney Stadium or whatever, but to make money, they have these sponsors. And I just think, like the Emirates Stadium, you've got like multiple Emirates stadiums. So which one's which? I like stadiums with their actual names. Like St Mary's, Southampton's football stadium is St Mary's. We haven't sold it to sponsors. Allianz Stadium. Yeah.
One of the brains behind the state's newest stadium is architect Alex York.
One of the most important aspects of the design was to stay true to the original SFS with the sweeping roof.
But that's where he hopes the likeness ends.
Really, there is no comparison, is there?
No, there's no comparison at all. I mean, in 1988, the compliance and standards were far less committed as they are now.
The design aims to provide more space, better...
Can I just go back? I just want to go back to the outside. I love some of these modern stadiums. They're not just concrete buildings. If you look at somewhere like the Optus, for example, where the outside of it is just a work of art. It's got these panels that just gives it that detailing that makes it looks more interesting, doesn't it?
Provide more space, better access and fewer queues. There's double the enclosed floor area, double the number of male toilets and 5 times more female toilets. All of the seats are undercover with 648 accessible spaces compared to a dismal 27 at the old joint.
For me, it's one of the best views in the house, without a doubt. I mean, you are right on top of the field of play.
It looks, what it's given me the first impressions, it looks light, it looks airy. The fact that it's saying that all of the seats are undercover, that's something that most of us have in the UK already. Most stadiums are undercover, maybe unless they're really old stadiums. But it looks light and it's airy and it just looks like it would have a good atmosphere. As he said, this location now is such a great location. But actually, what I mentioned when I do the VR stadium tours, I mentioned that what you want to be doing is looking down onto the stadium. You don't want a gradual tier. You want a steep tier, and that way you get a better view and you stay close to the action. And this is what this looks like. You can get away with it on the bottom tier being less steep, but as you go higher up to the second and third tier, it's got to be steeper. You want to be looking down on the pitch, and I think they've got that in this.
You can see everything.
Paralympians Maddie and Nick call it dignifying.
That's different, and be able to sit together, experience that together, like that's a game changer as well. So this is unreal.
Made it possible for anyone within the community to maintain their level of independence.
One of the biggest criticisms at the old stadium in terms of customer experiences was how long you had to wait for food and beverage. The average wait time was 20 minutes. Here at the new stadium, they reckon they'll have that down to 5 minutes.
See, this is a problem, and you get this in stadiums. If I'm linking it to football, because that's what I know, when I go to St Mary's, for example, the amount of people that have to leave their seats, say 5-10 minutes before half time, just to get a drink or go to the toilet. So you actually miss out on the game that you've just paid for just to get a drink or go to the toilet. So if they're able to cut times down to 5 minutes, then you're not missing out. You can leave at half time, come down, get a drink, and you're fine. And it mentioned about extra toilets as well. How important is that in a stadium with thousands and thousands of people? Yeah, when is everyone going to go to the toilet? Half time normally. So you need that capacity. So they've thought about it.
With 64 outlets, the food managed by hospitality giant Maryvale.
It's going to be such a positive step change in the experience. Talk about the toilets, you've just got to get those basics right.
The first test comes Sunday. 55,000 people will attend the official opening, a concert and community day, with the first game of footy the following weekend.
And that's when people will be able to experience what $828 million worth of stadium.
That is exactly, yeah, obviously I have my own point of view, but I'm pretty certain that it's worth every cent.
Tom Hartley, 7 News.
It's an interesting because, it's right next to the SCG as well, isn't it? What an awesome area for sport. They mentioned about the price, $800 million, what's that, about $400 million pounds, something like that. Now, when they say that it's worth the costs, I 100% get what they're saying. A nice modern facility that fits for everyone. How long does it take to get those costs back? Now, obviously, it helps that Allianz are sponsoring them, but how long does it take to get that much money? Because it is a hell of a lot of money. But it's great to see that stadiums are popping up everywhere. Modern stadiums that are more accessible for people, aren't they? That's a big thing. They're accessible for people. A lot of old stadiums, like football stadiums in England, a lot of them, if you look at Portsmouth, Fratton Park, it is literally built in the housing estate. It's not practical at all. Whereas a lot of stadiums now, when they're being built a little bit further out of the way. Often the clubs are working on making sure there's good transport links to the stadium, but they're quite often not in the middle of housing estates anymore, which they used to be. And I think the Gabba is a good example of that in Australia, where it is very, very tight, very tight. But modern stadiums like this, they're normally on kind of sporting parks, aren't they? I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. I really do. I said it's light, it's airy. It sort of complements the SCG's roof next to it as well. But I think this is the style of the modern stadium. The sort of the oval roofs. And actually, considering this is a rectangular sports stadium for football and rugby, they've still gone for an oval shape, which I assume allows for more floor space, easier for people to access, get in and out, more room when you're actually in there. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Let's see what they have to say. Do they have anything to say? No. Let's finish on that picture then. I really like it. Really, really good. Let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this stadium? Do you like it? Will you be going to this stadium to watch some rugby or some football? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.